All right, it's 1:02. We'll call the meeting to order. And then we'll have a roll call.
Certainly, Delaware County, Joe Cazzola.
Here.
Brian Hanel.
Present.
Matt Delameter is excused. Maggie Wilson.
Here.
Hamilton County, Margaret Houghton. Not present. Country Suite, Jack Farquhar. Mike Tracy.
Here.
Hamilton County, Joyce Malidi.
Here.
Phil Malidi present. Susan Franco. Absent. Gary Wicks.
Here.
Montgomery County, Tom Pasquarelli.
Here.
Vicki Swartz.
Here.
Trish Green.
Here.
Anthony Gresta.
Here.
Otsego County, Sid Chase.
Here.
Elizabeth McGowan.
Here.
Dr. Markowitz.
He's working today.
Also. Tim Foster.
Here.
Rich Freshman is excused. Schoharie County, Ed Brandt.
Here.
Bill Beavers.
Here.
Ed Hillenbrand.
Here.
Dr. Luz.
Excused.
Okay. Mark Zeke is present.
Present.
Lou Jones is excused. He's in Oklahoma. Relatives coming out ceremony from boot camp. And Dr. Leinhardt. Excused. And so we have a quorum.
Perfect. Everyone should have seen the minutes from the May 18th meeting and had a chance to review them. Anybody have any questions, any corrections? No? I'll take a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Second.
Joe. Second is
Yeah.
Beth.
Aye.
Abstaining or opposed? Perfect. Introduction of guests.
Oh, we have some nice guests today. We have Mary Ramo and Joe Farrell. We all know where they're from. John McMillan.
Hello.
We know where he's from too.
There's this.
Rich Knapp. And Avis Warner is here from Hamilton County. People do get here from Hamilton County from time to time. And we have Ken Chakowski with us. Ken is the new nurse manager at St. Mary's ED, and welcome. Good to have you. You're welcome anytime. Did I leave anybody out?
Chris George, right next to me.
Oh, Chris, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. I didn't look up. So
How
I
can you
should have
forget
looked up.
Jill?
And Jill.
And Jill Dunham. Oh, see, I figured she's just kind of remember the family.
Oh no. Getting old.
Then,
gonna start bringing
there's all the guest friends.
All right. Everyone should have received a list or has the ability to get a list of correspondence. Anything you wanna?
No, not really. Just I'd ask you to take a look at the correspondence. I tried to, the really routine stuff like, bill paying, and I left off all the conversations, the email conversations between myself and the CLI class candidates. More about that later, but I left that out because it was very routine back and forth stuff. But outside of that, what you have here is the substantive correspondence that we have had. So do take a look at it.
Chairman's report. I really don't have anything to report other than this is going to be our last meeting, obviously, until September. Hope everybody has a good summer and stay safe up there. You're up, Secretary's report.
All right. Sir, on May 22nd, we were advised that the Cherry Valley Emergency Squad was returning to a BLS level of service due to acute staffing issues. Also, as of May 22nd, just as a point of information to you, our agency statistics are as follows. In our region, we have 38 ALS ambulance agencies, 27 BLS ambulance agencies, 36 BLS FR agencies, and 4 ALS FR agencies, for a total of 105. Just a couple of years ago, we had 110 agencies, so you see there's been some attrition. On June the 6th, we received the core sponsor renewal application from Margaretville Memorial Hospital for our approval. It was painstakingly filled out in a long form, and I would like to make a motion that this council approve the renewal. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining?
Okay. On June the 12th, we received written notice from Hamilton County that Susan Franco has tendered her resignation as a member of the council due to time and work constraints. And the council is nominating Avis Warner, that's the county council, is nominating Avis Warner to fill her unexpired term. I'd therefore like to make a motion that we Well, actually, I can't because I'm from Hamilton County, so I will entertain, or, excuse me, I'm seeking the chair, a motion to accept this nomination and elect Avis Warner in the place of Susan Franco. That such a motion can be entertained.
I'll make a motion to take Hamilton County's.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Yeah, what he's.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Carried.
Okay. Welcome, Avis. We'll have some paperwork for you to fill out later, just being, New York State.
Oh, all the important stuff, the wage forms and.
That's right, yeah, that's right, good. The withholding agreement, all that stuff, right. Okay, Tom, you go through the training committee list, or do you want to wait?
My new treasurer report?
Well, no, I got a whole bunch of secretaries.
Oh, we'll do the training after.
Okay. The renewal of the regional medical directors agreement is now up, and I would like to make a motion that the agreement with Dr. William Fisher to serve as AAREMS Regional Medical Director is renewed for the period from July 1st of this year through June the 30th, 2018, under the same terms and conditions as the present agreement. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
You have a second?
I'm sorry.
Who seconded? I did. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Carried.
It's now time also to consider renewal of the office lease agreement. In the form of a motion, the AAREMS office lease agreement with the Speculative Volunteer Ambulance Corps is renewed for the period from July 1 of this year through June 30th, 2018, under the same terms and conditions as the present agreement, with a lease fee of $5,400 per year. And I will ask somebody other than myself to make that motion, since I am a member of the Speculative Ambulance Corps.
So moved.
Jack, and a second? Joe, okay.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstaining?
I will
Abstain.
abstain, and Joyce and I will both abstain, since we are members of the Speculative Ambulance Corps. And at the same time as we abstain, I'd like to show for the record that no member of the Speculative Ambulance Corps receives any pecuniary benefit from this agreement. Our organization is purely volunteer, and we have no payroll, and that's just for the record. So just to avoid any evidence or any sense of conflict, Joyce and I abstain. Also time for renewal of our storeroom rental agreement. I don't have to abstain from that because, we don't have living space in the storeroom. The lessor continues to be Brandt Brothers Incorporated.
You want me to comment on this?
Yeah, anyway. Resolved that the storeroom rental agreement with Brandt Brothers Incorporated is continued at the annual fee of $1,800 under the previously accepted terms and conditions. This is the same fee as it has been for the last several years. There's been no increment. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second?
Second.
Joe?
Yes.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining?
My vote is contingent on him cleaning it out.
That is truly a daunting task, I want to tell you.
And he's digging right into it.
We have presented, Joyce and I have, as staff members, have presented our blanket evaluation forms to the members of the executive committee, and also our yearly salary requests presented. And just a motion, or just a notion or note, I should say, can't even talk straight. Just a note that we're not asking for any salary increment this year, but I am requesting a 25 cents an hour increase in our fee-for-service rate from $13.25 to $13.50 an hour. That's our request.
We have a motion for that?
What's the minimum wage at now? Sorry, just a point of.
$9.70.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I knew they were talking about $15, and it's the only reason I asked the question.
Phil's
That's
gonna
a
do
Burger
that.
King. That's a Burger King. That doesn't apply to the EMS yet. That's just Burger King.
That's
We have a
phased
second for that
in
motion?
between now and 2020.
I wasn't sure the
I'm
end
sorry,
here.
who was the second? Oh, Joe, okay.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Abstaining?
Abstain. That's for salaries, right? Or was that?
No, that's not salary.
Oh, that was just
That's
a
a
fee.
fee for
Okay.
service. That doesn't
I
apply
take
to
that back. I don't.
We don't have.
What
that
do you rent
salary.
Phil out for?
$5 an hour.
There's a lot of sidebar conversations going on today. Do you notice that? I would like to make a motion that our continuing resolution be renewed, that the chairman be authorized to sign co-sponsor renewals upon approval on behalf of the council until our September meeting. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
That's the end of my report, sir.
Right. And we'll roll right into the treasury.
Treasury report, okay. A printed report of the cash flow balance sheet was distributed to all the members, and the members of the committee first received detailed cash flow balance sheet and register reports, plus copies of the canceled checks as per the review arrangements agreed on by our auditors, and their report.
Everything is found to be complete and accurate.
On June the 9th, we forwarded to the Department of Health a claim for payment in the amount of $210 as payment for our certified instructor update number 127130, which was successfully completed on June the 3rd. More about that in a moment. The payment rate for the CIU classes now has been markedly reduced by the state. It used to be a lump sum payment of $950, and now it's $15 per student attending. That's my report, sir.
All right, motion to approve the treasurer's report. Nikki? Second?
I'll second it.
Trish? Any discussion? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Judge?
Abstained.
Judge,
Abstain.
All right, regional program update.
Something to report on
Nothing to
that.
report. Training.
Let me just may say one sentence before Joyce takes over. The instructor update was held on June the 3rd at the Cobblesville Fire Department, which is a wonderful venue for that type of instruction. 14 people attended, very good evaluations, and the Department of Health, plus the attendees, have been sent all the usual paperwork. The attendees get a certificate from us, and the Department of Health gets the usual ending paperwork. And my thanks to the members of the Cobblesville Fire Department for their continuing hospitality. It's a very nice venue. That's my portion of it.
Okie dokie, the CI class is ready to go next week, I believe, starting?
27th and 28th.
27th, okay, 27th and 28th. And we have had 30 that were enrolled, and we're down. What do we have now, do you know?
Well, we still have 30 people enrolled.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the enrollment was closed after 2 days back in May. However, only 13 people have sent in any kind of paperwork that was requested and required of them by Howard Youth. And only 4 of those 13 have sent in their completed paperwork.
It's been only one of those 13 sent the complete paperwork the first time. And it's only 3 documents that have to really come in. So the paperwork has been terrible. I thought we had several that weren't going to come, and
We did have 3 that dropped out, and we moved up 3 from the waiting list.
Okay.
There were 7 people on the waiting list, and one of those 3 that were moved up already dropped out.
so basically we have 29.
Back to 29. Yeah. Well, actually, nominally, we moved another one up. We just haven't heard from them. So nominally, there are still 30 people in the class, but since Howard's cutoff date for receipt of paperwork is tomorrow, I'll keep everybody posted. It doesn't look like everybody's going to make the cut.
Okay, the teaching day. We had it scheduled for the last Saturday of October, which we usually did. We usually use that, but come to find out that we didn't realize that is also vital signs. So we can't really have it that day. I've had several conversations with John Politis, who is willing to do some leadership stuff during that day, which is, we wanted to focus on leadership, agency leadership. But his only possible day that he has in November, Saturday that he has in October or November, is the 18th of November. So what we decided today to do is put it on the 18th of November. I know it's first day of Southern Tier hunting season, but hopefully that won't interfere too much. So I'm going to get back to John quickly, because it's been a couple weeks since I talked to him, and I don't know if he's scheduled anything on the 18th or not. But I'm going to ask him if he can still do it. If he can't still do it, back to, I don't know what we're going to do. So anyway, that's the teaching day. I will let everybody know if we do have the Holiday Inn for that day. Phil checked today, so that's okay. We have one of these rooms, but it's just going to be lecture probably. So anyway, it's just going to, it'll be enough. We had a request from Otsego County EMS last, I think it was in the spring. No, it was actually during the winter sometime. That we do some type of leadership orientation materials for agency leaders. And I have been thinking about that and made a number of false starts. I don't know how many I lost control on exactly what to do with it, because it's such an overwhelming amount of stuff that especially captains or second in charge have to know that it's almost overwhelming to try to put this down to paper. So I came up with an outline or a start on this for the training committee, and training committee in a minute I'll talk about. And they made some good comments, and I think we're off in the right direction, and we'll be working on that. As far as the training committee is concerned, since the REMAC last time has asked us to become involved in setting up training and criteria for both the RFI and the SCT, that's the specialty care transport. They have asked that the training committee work on it, and that the guidelines come from the training committee for them to approve. So since we have not had a formal training committee in a number of years, it's basically whoever shows up at 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning and is willing to be there, we've been using as our training committee. But I've asked Tom, because we've got a lot of stuff to do at this point, to appoint a formal training committee. We sent an email out last week, I think it was, for anybody who was willing to be on the training committee. And those people who offered to do it and so forth met this morning, and we had a really good discussion on a number of issues coming up. And I would ask that Tom appoint formally a training committee. And I asked Tom about that, and it's all yours, kiddo.
All right. So, yeah, obviously we've been to these meetings, and this committee where these people have been tasked, and like Joyce said, there really hasn't been anything formal. We've certainly had a lot of interest in the training committee, and it's starting off fairly large, I think, with the people that have expressed interest. And after conversation with Joyce, I think that large committee certainly can get some stuff done, as well as delegate some different portions of this amongst themselves. So I'm not really opposed of having a larger committee to start with to see how it's going to work. So I believe Joyce has agreed to at least chair it.
For now.
For now. And the committee members that have expressed interest were Rich, Joe, Ryan, Maggie. I will act as ex officio. Ed Hillenbrandt, Beth McGowan, John McMillan, Mary Ramo, Sid Chase, Jill Dunham, Jack, and Joyce.
Oh, and Howard Hughes.
And Howard Hughes, I just put him on the list as well. So I would certainly entertain a motion to have these people serve as our training committee, formally as our training committee.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. we have a second? Trish. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Carried. I will give this list to Phil.
Okay, I know who has it now. I want to thank everybody that volunteered, because this is this is going to be work for every one of them. And it's going to be a considerable amount of work. We're going to work over the summer by email and so forth. So I'm hoping that we get at least part of the RE/MAX request done by the September meeting. And we'll hopefully get this leadership stuff going and have it ready if we are successful in having the teaching day on the 18th. Hopefully I'll have this ready for the handout then. I think that was it as far as training. Anything else that anybody else can think of?
All right, perfect. Thank you, Joyce. We'll turn the meeting over to Phil as the Chair of Transportation and Standards.
We are still waiting for some paperwork revisions as per Dana Jonas's recommendations for the Wells Volunteer Ambulance Corps Transfer of Authority. However, on June the 6th, we received paperwork for a transfer of authority from attorneys for the Greater Amsterdam Volunteer Ambulance Corps. Broad-Alban Ambulance wishes to transfer their operating authority to the Greater Amsterdam Volunteer Ambulance Corps. On that date, June the 6th, the members of the committee were forwarded copies of this paperwork to review for completeness. On June the 7th, the committee members advised by email that they had found the paperwork complete. We notified the Department of Health by email on that date, and on the same date, we received back a positive review of the fitness and competency submissions from Mr. Farrell at DOH. So we're now ready for the council vote as per law on this matter. So I would like to make a motion as follows. The motion will be followed by hopefully by a second and then by a discussion period. Resolved that the application of the Broad-Alban Volunteer Ambulance Corps Incorporated to transfer existing service operating authority to the Greater Amsterdam Volunteer Ambulance Corps Incorporated, otherwise known as GAVAC, is approved. That is the motion. I make that in the form of a motion, and I will entertain a second for that, please.
Second.
And that was Sid. Okay. We now have a period of discussion on this resolution. The statutory authority of the council is restricted in cases of transfer of authority to voting on the fitness and competency of the agencies involved in the transfer of authority. And we have assurance from the state of New York that they have found the fitness and competency review to be positive in each case. If there's any further discussion.
Can we have a brief description of the circumstances of the necessity for this transfer?
I would ask the gentleman to my left to.
Sure. Broad-Alban Ambulance Corps was strictly a volunteer service for years. Obviously, with the dwindling of volunteers, they have hired staff. With that, they're still experiencing staffing shortages and the inability to answer, a significant amount of their calls in that particular area. So they had approached us in regards to looking to merge with us as well as cover our area. Currently, GAVAC already covers or is licensed for the entire town of Perth and parts of the town of Broad-Alban. So with that being said, it was kind of like a perfect fit. If you will, we have already hired all of their staff to bring on board with us and certainly making their station one of our stations, as well as replacing some old and outdated equipment.
Okay, yeah, thanks, that sounds sensible. Yeah.
Is there any further discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, I'll call the roll call vote. A voting quorum being present. Delaware County, a vote yes obviously is to approve. Joseph Cazzola.
Yes.
Ryan Hanel.
Yes.
Patrice Delameter is excused absence. Margaret Wilson.
Yes.
Fulton County, Margaret Houghton, excused absence. Country Suite.
No.
Jack Farquhar.
Yes.
Michael Tracy.
No.
Hamilton County, Joyce Belidi.
Yes.
Philip Belidi votes yes. Susan Franco is not present. Avis Warner, membership taking her place. Avis Warner votes yes. Gary Wicks.
No.
Thomas Pasquarelli.
I abstain.
Michael Swartz.
I'll abstain.
Trish Green.
Yes.
Anthony Agreston.
Yes.
Sidney Chase.
Yes.
Elizabeth McGowan.
Yes.
Dr. Markowitz is absent. Timothy Foster voting as alternate.
Yes.
Harry County, Ed Brand.
Yes.
Bill Beavers.
Yes.
Ed Hillenbrand.
Abstain.
Dr. Lutz is not present. Mark Zeke and Lou Jones are advisory non-voting, and Dr. Leinhardt is not present. The results of the vote, we have we have 11 yes, 3 no, 3 abstain.
Could you check your yeses? I came up with 14 as we tallied through.
I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. You're correct. Let me recount. $14 is yes. I beg your pardon. I wasn't looking at Delaware County. That was inadvertence on my part. 14 is yes, 3 is no, and 3 is abstain. The motion is carried. Department of Health will be so notified, and the parties in interest will be so notified too, of course, even though they are present. We are clear of that. We're clear of the committee meeting.
State Council report. I have nothing to report from last week. REMAC.
REMAC next meets on September 15th.
All right, county reports. Start off with Delaware.
We submitted our course sponsorship renewal paperwork. We were trying to lay out what courses we're going to be holding next year. Other than that, pretty keyed down for the summer.
Let's see, go.
Business as usual.
Mr. Harry.
Hello?
Anything?
Reports? Oh, yeah. We started our staffing with the volunteers today, 6 o'clock this morning, staffing Middleburg Ambulance, and see how it goes from there. We have a couple ambulance companies that have ordered new rigs, so we're expecting to get them online here in the next couple months. That's about it.
Montgomery.
We don't have anything new. Our next meeting is not for 2 more weeks.
Fulton.
Nothing new.
And Hamilton.
We have our last EMT test is tonight. There will be 10 testing out. And we're in the process of submitting our co-sponsorship.
Old business.
It will be meeting a nominating committee, because I don't know if you want to call that old business or we call it business. So,
nominating committee, I believe has met. Jack, I think you were the chair of the nominating committee?
Yes. Myself and Mr. Chase, Mr. Beavers have come up with a nominating committee of the same officers have agreed to stay on and represent us for another year. And that would be Tom Pasquarelli as chairman, Sid Chase as vice chairman, and Phil Milady as secretary treasurer. Those are the three that the nominating committee is recommending again. And other than that, we would see if there's any nominations from the floor. Any nominations from the floor? Any other nominations from the floor for any of these offices?
I move that the nominations for chairman, vice chairman, secretary, treasurer be closed.
Okay. Move has been closed. Get a second? All in favor?
So this is the election, they don't get nominated and then there's a wait for 30 days? Or is this the month in which we're supposed to do elections?
Yeah.
This is the month. June is our
That just wasn't clear.
A motion would now be in order to accept the slate as presented.
So what do you need, a motion or a second? You need a motion or a second? Did you make
I
that?
can make the motion.
Okay, second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstained? So carried.
New business. Anybody have anything new for summer?
Last month, Phil had sent out an email of the REMO form for cardiac arrest reversal, respiratory arrest reversal, submitted so agencies get recognized. I know it's scary. We tried to do something along that lines through SCARSA, and it was an epic failure because we don't like to blow our own horn. Plain and simple. So I thought since Remo's doing this, maybe we as a region might want to consider doing this because people at least are willing to say, yeah, there was a cardiac arrest reversal or respiratory arrest reversal. So it was sent out last month, and I'd like to open that for discussion if possible.
I did not receive any comment on the form that I sent out.
Except for from me.
I'm sorry?
Remember, I basically said that I am a little bit hesitant to do this. We really have to have criteria as to what is considered a reversal. I mean, is it a respiratory, reversal, just respiratory if it was no breathing? Is it a full cardiac arrest that arrived alive at the hospital? Left the hospital alive, and in full, fully able to, restored. I don't know how to do that.
Right. AHA, I think their guidelines are a little bit different than others. I know what we do in Richmondville for cardiac arrest reversal, it's a documented CPR in progress, hopefully on the monitor that it's a non-perfusing rhythm that has changed to a perfusing rhythm and the patient walks out of the hospital. That's what we do in Richmondville for cardiac. For respiratory, obviously, that's more difficult to document because, especially with the opiates and such.
I don't know how you would know if the patient walked out of the hospital or not.
Follow through. Well,
it's difficult to get follow-up information.
Yeah, in Richmondville, it's not too hard.
Well, yeah, I understand that. But what are REMO standards for this? Do we know?
Deb was here. Basically, they do have a thing on the form that says somebody besides the crew attests that it was in fact that. MD or else, I just don't know. I did forget to ask Deb what that was.
Well, I think it would be wise to take Joyce's comments to heart and think about what the criteria might be.
Do we want to just table this until September and then I can research what REMO does and come up with some?
Well, I think we would need to have something to look at, certainly, or discuss.
That's a training. I would say yes. See what criteria REMO uses, and then we can present it.
Okay, that's cool.
Even if it's early and we can forward it before that September meeting, that would be great.
All right.
Any other new business?
Can I
Go ahead, Mary.
Just a real quick note. Controlled substance applications have to get in at least 30 days prior to the expiration. It's been the standard is to get the paperwork in 30 days. A lot of agencies have gotten really lax saying, well, I overnighted it to you. If we don't have it in the office prior to the expiration date, they want statements of deficiencies issued to the agencies because controlled substances are now an integral part of an ALS agency. With the statement of deficiency, they want the agencies downgraded to the BLS level.
And this is an ongoing
Well,
issue.
it's an
brought up
ongoing
by
issue.
the state council. Agencies that have ALS have renewed their agency, but have failed to renew their narcotics license, and whether that's intentional or not.
Last month, we had agencies that renewed their narcotics license and not their CON. There were 2 of them.
Well, on the other hand, ours went in pretty much in early May, almost 60 days, and we still haven't got a BNA, new BNE license. So I don't know what's holding that up, but we've been recertified, but still waiting for.
It's going to B&E right now.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying. So you're saying 30 days, but.
They have to be into our office before the expiration date. If it's been received, then you're covered under SAPA if you don't have your license.
Right.
B&E also cannot, by law, issue a license longer than the 2-year period. So they may be holding it to issue it closer to the end of the period.
Yeah, we've experienced that before too, where it's been.
Right.
That has
If
lagged
there's a
bit.
problem with
Yeah.
your application, Joe is very good about reaching out to you multiple times. Joe, you want to speak up here at all, or?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Their application is fine.
Yeah, I mean, it went to B&E. There's no issues with it.
Time ago.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's probably hung up there somewhere,
Mhm.
like it has been before. So.
Is it longer than 2 years?
No.
No, but
No.
if you send it in 60 days prior, which is actually the preferred time,
Yeah.
because that gives us a month to work out any missing pieces, the license will come back to you and it won't, B&E is done it 2 different ways, depending on who's doing them over there. One way is they'll issue it to you, but the date will start with the expiration, the first day of the following month. Other times they hold them and issue them closer.
Okay.
We can check the computer and see if they've acted on it, if they're holding it, or if they said, if I can see what date it was issued. So if it was issued and somehow your mail service aided or you never got it, we can check that. Because the other thing is, and people don't understand this, the operating certificates come from our office on our physical location of 875. The B&E stuff comes from a different address.
Yeah.
So it's 2 entirely different mail rooms dealing with it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think it's just good that people know that, and certainly 30 days would be a minimum, but I would suggest more than that, if you can do it.
I understand that, I mean,
Yeah.
but getting signatures and stuff, and if for some reason you're having a problem getting one particular signature, let Joe or I know, and we can work with you on certain pieces of it. Lee is, allowing us to do certain things. So that's all, just a friendly reminder. I don't want to see anyone else get in a jam.
Right.
All right, Pat?
I have been attending, at the request of my medical director, REMO's Education and Training Committee and REMAC meetings for several years now. The REMAC at REMO has a designated spot for an AAREMS representative to their REMAC. I would like to ask permission to apply for that position, being that I am already attending these meetings.
I'd be in favor of that.
Oh, certainly would too.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I just didn't wanted permission of the council to go ahead and
Yeah, it does.
apply for that.
Does anybody have a problem with that? I don't even think it needs to be a motion to attend the meetings.
Yeah, I'm there anyway, so,
Absolutely.
okay, thank you.
Any other new business? All right. Well, thank you all for attending. Another year down. See you all in September.
September 21st.
Motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Okay. Tony?
13:20.
Aye.
No, it's not.
Have a safe summer, folks. Stay safe, please.
Thank you.
So,